Welcome everyone to episode 63 of Just Joshing. This is the late Sunday edition because last night I just passed the heck out. It's just there's no other way around it. I am your host, Joshua Penteloresco. I write stuff, I podcast too, and since I'm also a publicist, let me get the publicizing out of the way. Craig DeLuey's current book, Battle Stations, is currently available at Amazon and other electronic book markets. You can order it right now. You can get it, review it, read comments. It's amazing stuff. It is Horatio Hornblower and Submarines. We got a lot of that. My other client, Chris Mars, is about to release a collector's edition of Entangled Souls, co-written with Gene Collin. It will be out real soon. I'm hoping December or January release. You can also check out her website at hauntedmars.com, HAUNTEDMARS.com. Alright, so I've done all the wonderful publicizing. Let's get to the stuff that's interesting and apparent. First and foremost, I whipped my mom's butt in cribbage. It was fantastic. She nearly just set my place on fire too, and it's all good. No, actually, she didn't really set my place on fire. I have a very that's the word. Would you like to be on the podcast? You're already on the podcast, just so you know. So yeah, I have a extra sensitive fire alarm, and when she went to make tea, and because she likes tea, she nearly set my place on fire. You know, that's the way it goes sometimes, and it's fun. You know, it's fun, and it's all good because you guys to come out here. Like I said, I'd be lying to you if I said I expected her to come when she initially said she'd come. But I've enjoyed her. I've enjoyed the visit I've had with her so far. It's been good. And beyond that, this weekend I made an ask for myself for a good cause for the Alberta's Children's Hospital. That took place at a buddy's house. We played games, we did board game stuff, we did all kinds of things that were all in good fun, really. And like I said, now we'd all donated. I'm going to hopefully find out real soon what was raised for the Children's Hospital. But we did a really fun little show, and that's the best thing. And I want to thank Dorkable for having me. Speaking of Dorkable, I'm also on their current episode of You Haven't Watched, which was Fight Club, which what turned out to be a really, really good movie. I broke every rule in the book. I ended up, you're not supposed to swear, and you're not supposed to say I don't know on their questions, and I did both every single time. I'm really sorry, but I want to thank Miranda Tubman and John Ryan Stewart for having me on their show. It was a good time. And now, speaking of shows, this week, my current, you're gonna see 3 shows. This was supposed to be Saturday's edition, but since I was unconscious for most of Saturday, or when I wasn't doing my charity work, I am now going to be doing 3. This is the Sunday edition. I'm going to be doing one for Wednesday, and Wednesday I'll be doing another one for Saturday. Finishing up the When Words Collide interviews I did back in August. This one is Michael Martineck. He's been a fan of mine. It's been really, I think one of the really good things about doing this is sometimes you discover people that in your profession that are actually fans of yours, and I like to think Michael's a fan of mine, and it's really flattering. He's done some really good books. I loved Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo is a really interesting take on people experiencing each other's memories and personalities for just one brief instant. It was an incredibly interesting story, and I love the concept. It changed things, and yeah, I'm really, really grateful that that guy like that enjoys what I do on the podcast and what I do on some of the other things I do, and so I really appreciate him. So yeah, we're going to talk about his current stuff with the Milkman, which is his series, and I can't wait to read whatever he comes up with next. So, without further ado, let us go to our advertisements for the day. Well, it just basically means buy my stuff, people. Okay. Tired of buying t-shirts, coffee cups, and other memorabilia that all podcasts seem to have? I sincerely hope not, because I'm jumping aboard this gravy train right now. That's right.
You can be the proud owner of a Just Joshing t-shirt, photographic print, and coffee cup at my Redbubble store. Redbubble has one-click ordering and will ship anywhere in North America. Check out http://worldwideweb.redbubble.com/people/jpenteloresco for more details.
Very comfortable.
Okay, in that case, I am with Michael Martineck. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
So how you doing today, man?
Excellent. Couldn't be better.
Couldn't be better? You seem a little nervous.
No, not in Calgary. I find this place very relaxing.
Yeah, where actually are you from?
I'm actually from Buffalo, New York. Actually, I live on a little island actually near Buffalo, New York, between Buffalo and Niagara Falls.
Okay, I know the area. I'm an Ontario boy, man.
Okay.
So I never lived quite there, but I lived in Toronto, so it's like not that far away. You know what I mean? So I kind of know the area. So you're like in an isolated little spot at this point?
Isolated little spot, yeah. It's cute, and it's well, you can almost see Canada from my house. I feel like I'm half Canadian. So.
You might be here often enough to be active.
Yeah.
That's cool. So let's see. Let's talk about a couple things. I first met you personally a year ago, before I did this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were kind of when I started doing these phone interviews.
Yes.
Yes, and the thing of it is, so now you're here. You've been supporting it, so I just want to say on the record, thank you very much.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
Yeah. So, but the thing that got me is I read your work before I ever met you. I read Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, about 3 years ago now.
Yeah, cool.
And it's still like one of the coolest little. I want to call it a disaster story, but it's not like a natural disaster. It was just like everybody got a moment or a share minds with another person.
Yeah.
So where did that come from? Like, what was the idea for that?
I had the idea that it would be very interesting to really get inside somebody else's head, and it's a classic example of taking the idea to an extreme. Whether that's a good idea, I don't know. But I was going to do 2 people, and then I was going to do 4, and then I ended up doing the entire globe.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a lot of fun. A lot of braided stories.
What was your favorite perspective to write? Because that was, there's a couple of them I thought I really enjoyed. I can't remember his name, but the rich guy that got decked at the very end. I'm sorry, folks. There's a little spoiler here. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. But the thing of it is, I remember really, that must have been a satisfying scene to actually write. It's like, you're a dick. Bam.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some definite satisfaction. There's some setup and question and answer in the book, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. My favorite character to write, that's a tough one. They all had their own their own charms.
Yeah.
So.
But okay, just me personally, when I write, and I know I'm not saying I'm picking my children because I do like my characters a lot, but there are just some characters that say a lot more to you than others, if you know what I mean.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true. There's a character in the book actually called Casper. He's a scientist who I liked quite a bit, and he's not the most interesting character, but he has the most interesting things to say.
Yeah.
And he was my mouthpiece for the book.
Yeah.
So everything that I wanted to say, pretty much Casper ends up saying. So.
Oh, that's cool. It's cool. I like the idea of shared consciousness. Does that actually fascinate you? Like just how the collective unconscious works, or is it something?
It does, because I'm one of those people who think that we share as human beings a lot more similarities than differences. And then you travel around the world and you see it. You see the same things.
We're good.
Good.
Can I get you a drink?
Right now, just a Coke will do for me, actually.
I will have a beer, like a Molson Canadian.
Yeah. Sounds good.
You like our beverages? No, you like our beverage? Okay, when I travel to the States, the only thing I really hate now is going to the bars there because
funny. How come?
Because the beer is so.
Oh yeah. Big fancy craft beers.
Yeah.
And it becomes very hard to negotiate.
Yes.
There's a couple of bars around me that they offer 800 different beers, and it's just too much.
I like microbrews. Like I enjoy the I like the microbrew part of the industry very much. The regular beers just make me down there. Just make me go, oh.
No, Buffalo's become quite the beer mecca.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of I've lost track of how many microbreweries. There's got to be more than 25.
Holy crap! Wow, that's like an industry there.
Oh yeah, it's nuts.
So, if I remember this correctly, Buffalo used to be an industrial area once upon a time, right?
Yes.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Big steel town, big automotive town.
And then when everything went, you got that's okay. It makes sense, you know.
Yeah. Then it had its trough. It started to come back with the financial industry, and right now the medical and education industry is
that's good.
holding
No,
out.
that's really good. I'm from I'm from Sylvester, Ontario, like Windsor, Detroit. So
yeah.
That's where my
very very similar.
No, it's bigger trial or bigger fall, because I think especially Detroit is like wow. But,
Buffalo avoided that.
No, I know. I know. My dad used to joke, because he used to be a truck driver. He used to hate driving through Buffalo because of your roads. They're like,
oh yeah, we never got through with that.
No. There's still a pop waiting to happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the weather extremes, I think. Thank you very much.
Yes.
The weather extremes.
Okay, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, like Buffalo was up in the 90s this week, but 6 months prior to this, it was down below zero.
Which is natural for.
Pour some salt on it, and
yeah, exactly. No, exactly.
You're done.
You're back, and you're back in business. How's the humidity there?
It's always humid.
Yep. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to it anymore. I went back there for a wedding, and I was like, I'm dressed similar to this, and I'm like, I am not used to this anymore, because you got away from it long enough.
Yeah.
It's just not.
No.
Like I like going back in the fall, because you don't. It's in that nice ground, because where the winters. Because the thing is, it's not as cold as here, but the winters are like they get in you a lot more there. And
They do.
They do. Yeah. So
the fall's beautiful.
Yeah. No, the fall's amazing. And I like the area. So we lost complete track of where we're going. So I guess. Whatever.
I like talking about Buffalo too.
Yeah. No, it's just it's where you're from and stuff. So are you from there your whole life, or?
I've moved around. I was actually born in Ithaca, but my parents were from Buffalo. Moved back at a pretty early age, and then I lived in Boston for a while.
Okay. I've never been to the Eastern Seaboard there, so I don't know what that's like. So.
Boston's like a bigger Buffalo.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Move back.
Yeah, move back. Yeah,
move back. I like it.
Oh, there's nothing wrong. I've been in Calgary, 7 years. Jeez, I haven't time. But I still don't feel like this is my home. I like it here.
Interesting. Yeah.
I like it here.
Yeah.
I don't love it here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally.
Yeah. It's not the people or thing. I just get this feeling in my life that there's no point where I will leave the city again.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Like I loved Boston, but I want to go back to Buffalo. I think sometimes there's a vibe or a size of a city. It's like trying on a suit. It can be beautiful and just not fit you right.
Actually, for me that's Toronto. Like Toronto, the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love visiting Toronto.
No. There's not a soul that does not love visiting that city.
Yes.
But living there is an entirely different thing.
Oh yeah.
It's an entirely different thing, and I can it's neat because if you're going into the city, you can literally feel the city like an hour away. I've never felt anything quite like Toronto.
Yeah.
You get there. I'm older now. I can appreciate it more, and I can appreciate it more now than when I was a kid. But it's just not for me. Like it's just not for me. It just.
No, I couldn't adjust to that kind of lifestyle.
No.
I just couldn't.
Yeah, it's the way it goes. But the reason I'm just getting like some background stuff because in that book in particular, you had a variety of different people. What did you do before you became a writer? Are you still doing anything?
I've been a writer. In one form or another, pretty much my whole life. I wrote my first novel when I was about 11 years old. Wrote comic books, and I make a living writing advertisements.
Okay.
So I'm always writing something.
That's interesting because to me, well, it's kind of like I enjoy doing like freelance stuff on the side because it's nice to stretch your brain that way.
Yeah.
But it must be tricky because on the one hand you're doing what you love kind of with writing.
Kind of, yes.
But it's a kind of thing because yeah, you're expressing yourself and you're creating something, but you're advertising this latest deal on cars. Or
You're exactly right.
And you're like, I don't. Actually, yeah, that's interesting. How do you approach writing that compared to something you really enjoy? Or I'm not saying you don't just enjoy advertising. It's just the content.
No, that's a very fair question.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you can find a way to enjoy it.
Yeah.
All writing has that kind of puzzle, like how do I get my character out of this scene, or how do I convince somebody that taking the bus is a good idea? Mm-hmm. And they both have similar mechanisms. I mean, if you like manipulating words, and I enjoy the challenge. I also enjoy the challenge sometimes of only having 50 words to say something, or 40 words, or 30 seconds.
And it's interesting because you bring back, like, we're in the age of Twitter now, where 150 characters is a thing.
Yeah.
It's actually made me a better writer.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
No, it's actually made me a better writer because you're forced now, you're with that limitation to convey a message of some kind, and which means that
it forces you to be concise.
Yeah.
And to think about what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I won't go that far. I've seen some tweets.
No, your tweets are good. Your Twitter feed is really good.
Yeah. Well, I work on it, but the thing is, I mean, the different Twitter feeds, like depending on who they are, it's interesting to me just to watch how writing has evolved, and now it's quicker. Like it's a lot, like more.
It is.
Yeah. So it's almost like our literature, everything is now going into shorter, more concise bursts, like a burst culture.
That is true. Everything is more concise, and for better or for worse. I know you go back and read some stuff that was written, not plays, but if you read long form fiction written 400 years ago, it's or 250 years ago, it's way different.
Oh, absolutely.
I find it difficult.
I can enjoy the nuances. Like I read Victor Hugo's *Les Miserables*.
Oh yeah, very cool.
All right, and he's fun to read. Like he's actually really fun to read. Except there are parts though where he goes into gray, and you just see the style and the intention. That's how people think right today, right? And versus how people thought back then.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting. And so when I look at that, it's like, would I write it that way today? No.
No.
But that's what they were thinking then.
Yeah.
Would writing today work back then? I'm not so sure.
No, I don't think people would like it. It'd be very choppy, very staccato, and it doesn't flow the same way.
Yeah. I kind of wonder sometimes, like, if depth's lost, like because so much is communicated and being concise and clear, and that's important because people need to understand what you're saying. But because we're so bursty, like I can even think about what I would read in the 80s, like some of the things. That's not that long ago.
No, not that long ago.
And you're like, it's not concise as today, but there's almost like there was a depth there that there isn't today. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's difficult because you can write short and have some meta information in there. If I say like totally, those are just two words, but you say them, now they have a different meaning than they had 50 years ago. Yeah. Now they express a whole different character, a whole different attitude that goes with those two words and that kind of pairing. So you're getting more information than just from those two words. Absolutely. And I think that happens with a lot of concise fiction if it's done right.
Yeah, no, it's fair. No, it's fair. It's just a neat thought. Yeah. And actually, going back to what you do, like you're into advertising. Mm-hmm. You look at your ads 5 years ago compared to today. How different are they?
They are very different now. Yeah. You try to pare down even more.
Yeah.
And you. And the way you get ads out, of course, is different now too. So.
Well, now it's all about the phone.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about the phone.
Yep.
So now you write like this now, like instead of a like a horizontal, you write vertically now.
Right. Yeah.
Is that?
And I haven't done no one has asked me to do a newspaper ad in years.
And that's probably going to be a rare thing now.
Yeah. It just flat out. I mean, it used to be a bread and butter thing for me, and now it's gone.
No. So now for you it would be.
Content.
Yes.
Internet content.
Yes, that would be it. Yeah. No. So do you like it? Do you prefer that, or do you miss the newspapers?
Sometimes I miss the newspapers because you could be a little more verbose. So you weren't trying to catch people with one word or one little picture and a half a word or a smiley face, But So sometimes I miss it. But the challenge, the puzzle of doing internet ads is kind of interesting. It's kind of fun.
So how much are you into graphical stuff now more, or because I know it's a weird thing to ask
It was always that way. I mean, if you're doing a billboard in the 1920s, it had to work the same way a billboard ad does now on a web page. So
I guess what I'm asking you is, are you now more into graphical? Because the internet's such a big multi-medium thing.
Yeah.
Are you a lot more graphic conscious than you used to be, or is that less? Is that more?
No, I gotta say, strangely enough, it's probably about the same.
Really?
Yeah, graphics were always important. If you're doing magazine ads, newspaper ads, outdoor stuff, the billboards and sides of buses and things, you still had to have a graphic element that worked, that catches people's attention. A book cover,
Yeah.
It's still the same.
That's why I use them on the podcast.
Yeah.
That's why because I mean
it's just as important.
Yeah, no, I learned this. My mentor taught me that presentation was very, very important, and I still kind of frown at that a little bit. I think you have to have substance with it, but I do get what he's saying, where you got to get people's attention.
You do.
Yeah.
The people can turn their virtual pages much faster now.
Absolutely.
They won't see your ad, they won't click on it, they won't pay attention. So, and like with your podcast, you want people to stay a little longer. I mean, you want them to look around. So.
Well, with the podcast, that's why I almost never go over an hour.
Yeah.
Because it's just I just realized that there's a comfort zone. People I don't like short podcasts where they're 15, 20 minutes.
No.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I get why some people have it, because there are certain niches that it really fits well. Not so much when I'm doing an interview. You don't want that.
No, I like your podcast. Actually, they're kind of like workout length.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. That was the idea. You do a workout, you're doing a project, and it doesn't feel like I overstay my welcome.
No.
Yeah, and that's kind of the goal. That's kind of the idea. So I just kind of it's the point. But okay, so you've done. Actually, I'll ask this: what's your favorite ad you've done?
My favorite ad? Oh, that's an easy one, actually.
Really?
I did an ad for the bus company in Buffalo about 10 years ago, and I got to work with live penguins.
Really?
So that was a TV ad, yeah.
Really?
No one likes to drive in the winter, and I had penguins getting on the bus. And
that's fantastic.
That was really, really fun.
Is that on YouTube or anything like
that? It must be, right?
You know what? Yeah. Before I air your episode, I'm gonna have to find that.
Oh yeah, I'll find it and send you a link.
Yeah, I know. That'd be amazing, because I'd actually would put this in guess who's the brain behind this? This guy, right?
Love that ad.
Yeah. So let's see. Single the Mile. Talk about your other career. So now you got this really cool cereal. First up, I really dig the cover. I don't know if you had any say in that, but I love the Milkman cover.
I did too. I loved it. The publisher, Edge Science Fiction and Fantasy, did that, and I love the cover.
No, it's fantastic. Did you have any say in that?
They asked me if I liked it, and I said I really do.
Okay, that's all. Fair enough. Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I would have hated it, maybe they would have said, but.
Because my publisher lets me kind of play with the covers, but also I'm working with someone that's really amazing, so it's like, just do it better.
Yeah, it's best left to the professionals.
That's right, and I'm certainly not one. But it's one of those things. I
like the cover a lot.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just really that was a fantastic cover. So you get into kind of this dystopian future and milk. So where does that come from?
I love that book. I had that idea almost 30 years ago.
Wow.
About a world without governments, and played with it for a long time until I could work it into a book. I was listening to NPR one time, and they were doing an interview with Robert Parker, who wrote the Spencer for Hire novels.
Yeah.
This was years ago. And he talked about how Boston is like a character in the books, and I had this epiphany that murder mysteries are just a great way to show the character of a place, and I had this idea for a very unusual place, So I wrote a murder mystery that takes place in a world with no governments. Where
Yes.
murder is not actually technically illegal because there's no laws.
I'm really torn which way I want to go. I almost want to bring a Batman reference into this because Batman, one of the biggest characters in Batman's comics is Gotham City itself.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Right, yeah,
And I should have realized that. I didn't have that epiphany until I heard Parker say it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true because the place dictates the place you live in dictates the how you develop.
It does.
It totally does. I mean, someone that grows up, let's say, in a very rough environment, like say the Detroit or maybe some nasty areas of Buffalo, has a very different perspective than someone that grew up in middle class, say in Toronto or middle class London. Ontario.
Yeah, or London, Ontario.
It's a very
different place.
Yeah, and so people are developed a certain way. Like I said, I moved everywhere, so my development is very different than other people as a result. But no, I was just saying there's that, but also the idea of no government. Ooh, I'm going to talk about a dirty thing here real quick. We might be talking about politics real quick.
Oh, yes, all right.
It's a dirty thing. But I'm sorry, the election in the States is almost like a comedy and a tragedy at the same time.
And for some of us, it is like a part-time job now, too, because you can't look away.
No, it's like a wreckage thing. I can't watch. But I remember because you mentioned no governments in the Milkman. I remember a movie. You remember The Network back in 1978?
Yeah.
My favorite line in that is, "There are no nations, there are no peoples anymore."
Yes.
That's one of my favorite lines in that entire movie. Because it was an epiphany moment for me. And I was like, no, that makes total sense. If you look at what's going on, especially in the United States today, I almost feel like it's almost complete. It's almost a complete thing. I almost, in one sense, and this feels maybe terrible, that the presidential race does not really matter.
No, in a lot of ways it doesn't.
No, it really doesn't, because it's not about Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. It's about Microsoft versus Sony, or it's about, right? I feel like the United States has hit that point where it is almost dictated now by the big.
Yeah, well, no, you bring up a good point. Not necessarily Microsoft versus Sony, but you will see like Exxon versus Apple.
Yeah.
And you see some of that in the different trade deals.
You even see that in the election. Like, who backs Trump? Who backs Hillary?
Yeah.
Sometimes both the companies back.
Oh,
both.
yeah.
Absolutely, right? And I think that's more fascinating than who's running, because I almost feel like, and I don't like Trump. I'm leery of Hillary too, like personally. I just look at both of them like anybody else.
Yeah, it is. It is a tough one.
Yeah,
it's tough to watch.
Yeah, I'm glad I live up here. Although I technically can vote down there.
Oh, that's cool.
I honestly don't know who I'd vote for. It's at this point, it's honestly, I'd either vote for somebody on the candidate that's not advertised.
Yeah.
Or I'd write somebody in I think that would do better. I think honestly that's truly the smart thing an American could do this thing. I don't know.
It's tempting. Yeah. Although I have to say, I mean, it just can't be Trump. So.
Yeah. No. It's I don't think it can be Trump either. I don't. But I don't know. It's just, I looked at it and it was just like one of those. Well, he's run, but here's the thing that gets me with that. He's run like for president like the last 3 elections.
Oh, he always talked about it.
No, he was in the last one for like 10 seconds and he got ran out.
Yeah.
He got ran out the building.
I always figured he was, I would have lost my bet that he would never actually run, because, you know, it's always better to say, I'm thinking about running and getting the press out of that than running and losing, because, you know, he doesn't want to be a loser.
Yes.
It's a big thing for him.
Yes.
So I never thought he would actually run.
Yeah, it's fair, but it's.
And then after that, now all bets are off. I can't.
No, I know.
I can't predict anything.
Well, it's. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think there's a good answer down there at all at this point in time.
Well, there's
That's the thing.
I got some bad answers. I know that. So
that's pretty much it. No, because I'm only bringing this up because, like I said, you're talking about no governments, and I'm just looking. Again, maybe I'm looking at this through rose-colored glasses, but the quality of candidates seems to have deteriorated.
It had every
election.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge Barack Obama fan.
Yeah.
I don't mind telling anybody that's good. Well, he's the writer-in-chief, so how could I not be?
Yes.
but I mean, he's eloquent and very smart.
Yeah, but even who he ran against last time,
He did not run against, I think, solid candidates both times.
Yeah, exactly. And just you look at, and then previous to that, I mean, you had George W. Bush and what he ran against. And I remember back when, again, I was around when Reagan's. I remember being a little kid when Reagan ran the second time. George Bush Sr. when he ran, Bill Clinton when he ran. The candidates seem less extreme. Does that?
No, American politics has been on a divergent path for the past 30 years, and some of that is, well, I don't think it's intentional from the American people, but it certainly has been an outgrowth of the media.
Yeah, totally. No. Well, it's powerful. Like, I mean, now it's not so much television anymore, but it's the phone that can make or break a candidate.
Yeah, and there's an insular quality to that. I can, like, if I choose to get the news, I can tailor it to news that fits my point of view.
Absolutely. No, and that's frightening because that's not what news is supposed to be about.
No, it's not. And and it started about 30 years ago, and you've seen the divergence in.
I just think. I think it's brutal that the best way I can get news today, if I want to be completely biased, is my Twitter feed, not Facebook.
It is the fastest.
Because you'll get.
Not Facebook.
I follow. Because Facebook does now is it does memes. It goes it does all these memes, and they're just as nonsensical as anything I've seen on television. Yeah. Right. So I'm like, no. But then I was like, that's the new television stuff. But then you go on Twitter and you'll have people like showing articles here. That's the most accurate way to get news today, and that's scary.
No, Twitter is. It's by far the fastest.
Yeah.
And it certainly gives you, whether it's in depth or not, it tells you what's going on right now.
Exactly. No,
and then you can drill down from there.
And then your research can go wherever way you want, but you can actually get news.
Yeah.
Whereas,
I don't think it's a bad thing. I really don't.
No, I love Twitter. Like, that's the thing I love most about Twitter is you actually still, okay, if you're not getting the please buy my book because it's awesome spiel.
That's my favorite tweet. Please buy my book.
It happens
awesome.
every day.
Yeah.
It happens every. No, like I follow writers on Twitter, and it's funny. I consciously don't do this on my Twitter. Right? I consciously don't. I don't do this. Every once in a while, I will go on a name is shameless plug binge. Right? I'll binge it, and then it's over because for the short bursts. Because it's not engaging. I don't need. Yeah, I know you have a book out. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Tell me about you. Yeah. Please, because if I hear about your book, I'm just gonna be like, That's what happens on Twitter. I mean, I think that's the biggest mistake writers make on Twitter, actually.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, or social media in general. Yeah. It's the biggest mistake.
Yeah, you have to promote, but don't start that way.
No.
Start. Be you. Talk, engage, and then
I try to have something interesting to say, and whether I'm saying it through a tweet or through a book, So if I'm not interesting, ignore me. Well, but if you are interested in what I have to say, you can check it out.
Actually, go back to your advertising thing a little bit. We're going more and more toward niche. Like it's not.
It's very true.
It's more and more toward niche, which actually fits this whole how we're talking about Twitter fits that very well. I'm not going to find everybody like me, which is too bad because I'm awesome. but that all said, I will find people that like me, have similar views to me, and those are the people you gravitate to, and vice versa, right? If you got a book and I like the style or I like your work, I'm going to gravitate towards that, right? And because I'll have insight into you as well, right? I don't know, maybe that's just what I've observed last.
No, it's true, and it is, advertising works on the same principle. You try to find the people who are most likely to buy your product or your service.
And that's changed tremendously too.
It used to be shotgun, and now it's much more rifle.
More snazzy.
You can really zero in. Right down to pizza companies you can advertise right to a certain block. That where pizza buyers are. So.
Facebook's scary. I click on the link, and then my next time I'm on the advertisements for all these things that
I know.
It's brutal.
Yeah. My daughter buys American Girl dolls and clothes and stuff. So Facebook and Twitter and the internet really believe I'm an American Girl doll fan because
it's scary, but it's true.
It's true.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how the world keeps changing, and it's going to be interesting to see where things go from here. So you going to do a sequel to the Milkman?
I have written a sequel to the Milkman.
Yes.
Yes.
When's it coming out?
I don't know. I'll have to find out soon.
Okay. Maybe before this podcast airs.
Maybe before this podcast airs.
All right.
Maybe tonight.
Oh, and by the way, folks, we are at When Words Collide. So this is the Writer Con. This is where Mike stops by and says hello up there in the Bear.
It is my favorite con.
Actually, it's become mine too. Because it's just such a neat. It's a small but dedicated group.
It really is. It's incredibly well run.
Yes, no, I know. I've had some interesting con experiences in my time.
I have, and this is by far my favorite, by far the best run.
Yes, no, I agree. Yeah. So I think we have ourselves a nice, wonderful interview here. So before we wrap things up, I asked them right before the air. They answered 3 questions. So I'm going to make them do this here on the air, and then we're going to give him, and then he's going to tell you how to find him. So tell me about the Milkman. Answer them 3 questions. Who are you? Present your product and watch people care.
Michael Martineck, a writer, and the Milkman is available right from Edge or from Amazon.
Okay. And what's it about?
The Milkman is about a world with no governments. You can see how that works.
Absolutely.
And it's, I don't know, some people might consider it a dystopia, some people may not. So
it's an intriguing murder mystery, and it's and not dystopia. It's like anarchy gone awry. Actually, and that's actually
organized anarchy. Yeah.
Actually, that's how you should market it. So, like legitimately, anarchy gone awry.
Yeah. That's very cool. It's a good tagline.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just
you could write ads.
I could. I've gotten good at this. I don't know how. But anyways, so people want to find you online. How do they do that?
MichaelMartineck.com.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Yep, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. They're all linked on there. So.
Okay, fair enough.
And that is that. I want to thank Michael Martineck very much for his time and effort. The Milkman Volume 1 is currently available wherever you can buy books, both as an ebook and a regular book. I encourage you to check it out. I was hoping to get information on when Book 2 is going to be out before by the time this aired, but looks like that has not happened yet. But do know that the Milkman 2 will probably be out sometime next year. If I know more, I will update everybody on this at a future date. Meantime, you can check him out at mmartineck at Twitter, and you can find him on Instagram as well. Anyways, that will do it for another episode of Just Joshing. I am Josh Pintorasco. Buy my books, buy my merchandise, support my clients. But whatever you do out there, stay inspired. All right. Have yourselves a good one, guys.
Josh.